Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, off and moving from the undisclosed location. Ben Mintz, Barstool Mintzy, going to be in the undisclosed location this morning for about an hour as we'll chop it up with Barstool's finest as we were out at LeBear's last night with Mintz and his crew. A lot of love for Mintz. Rohan Davey was over there. It's good to see the St. Jude Men's Club, West Shin.
Oh, yeah.
And his crew.
All right.
We're all huddled up around buffet food and keg beer, watching the NFL draft last night. Only one LSU Tiger off the board last night. A little surprising. Would have lost some money on that bet.
Yes, yeah, I did lose money on my bet. I had MarrChase as the first non-quarterback off the board because I assumed he was the best player. And I don't believe that. I think Jamar's better than Pitts is.
Good that Atlanta drafted.
Yeah, I'm glad that he didn't go to Atlanta, but. That's why I asked the question if the LSU and Jamar thing and Joe Burrow thing was real, because if, why wouldn't the Falcons take him? Like, is that the reason that the LSU connection, is that why they had him slotted to Cincinnati, or was he the best non-quarterback on the board? I thought he was the best weapon available.
Yeah, no, and look, he goes last night, he goes 5th. Overall, and we'll talk to Jimmy Chase. We'll talk to Jamar's dad coming up here in a couple of minutes on the Jordy Culotta Show. Lots to get to. LSU Arkansas opens up a college baseball series this afternoon in front of a full capacity audience.
That's so
Let's
exciting.
go!
People are so excited
Should
about
be.
that.
Weather report not too good for the day though.
No.
Are you serious?
Looks like it calls for rain. I've been monitoring for our road trip down to New Orleans for our flag football tilt.
Of course.
This evening down at LaSalle Park. If you're looking for something to do, full capacity down in Metairie.
If you're looking for something to do.
Get your popcorn ready.
Come watch the 4th graders play flag football in New Orleans.
Right. But it does look like it's supposed to rain here in Baton Rouge all day. 40% down in New Orleans. So hopefully LSU baseball in the box can catch a break this evening with 100% capacity. Remember, every day, our coffee's brought to you by Majestic Coffee that is locally brewed here in South Louisiana. For all anything you need coffee, check them out on social media. What was the website?
DeliciousSips.com.
Delicious Sips.
DeliciousSips.com.
It's good stuff. They literally roast it and then FedEx it to you.
Majestic, the official coffee, and everybody that comes on the telephone. Like Jimmy Chase coming up here in a couple of minutes. Metropolitan Health Group, Charles Harvey, Jason Ramazan, Real Doctors, Real Solutions. Always appreciate the support over there. It is a Harper's Hoop Friday. I'll be shooting for a couple of gift cards. We'll make sure that Barstool Mintz and Playboy Marty
get a couple shots up.
Playboy Marty's a basketball. He's a hoop head.
Is he coming too?
Yep. Oh. He's hosting the Barstool NBA podcast up there in New York. So. We'll see if he can't drain some jumpers for some gift cards to go see old Sammy.
That would be worth the trip in itself. Huh? I come to Baton Rouge, get $500 worth of gift cards, and roll out of town.
$700 later.
We appreciate everybody being out there for watching, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook, JordyCulottaShow.com. Remember, like, share, tell a friend. We appreciate everything from the interaction that's happening. Nice night for the NFL draft. It's turned into a lot of entertainment, man. It's turned into this primetime television show. I mean, where people are breaking down what people are wearing, how people are reacting. A lot goes in now to the NFL draft. My favorite moment, without question, my favorite moment of the night was Jalen Waddle and the way that he just pieced out on his family after he was selected 6th overall by the Miami Dolphins. He didn't take a phone call. It was like he knew that it was coming. He was sitting right there in the chair, and once it was announced, he just jolted up and just made a beeline for the hall, and all of his people flashing the cameras, got the video cameras out. They're all kind of like looking at each other like,
he's gone.
Yo, bro, what's the deal? Where are you headed?
Strictly business here. He saw the bright lights of the 305 and aced that place, dude.
I mean, dude, it was, I thought that was a great moment of the night. It was just a funny moment.
2 years in a row, Alabama guys have stolen the show. Yeah. No, it was C.D. Lamb from Oklahoma last year with the cell phone incident and the girlfriend where she went for the phone grab and he said, I don't think so. And then now we have another wide receiver that says, I'm out of here, guys. See y'all later.
It was funny,
Good luck.
man.
I'll send y'all a check in the mail.
That was great. Peyton Turner was the selection for the New Orleans Saints defensive end out of Houston. Got to be honest, didn't know anything about Peyton.
I didn't
Houston.
either.
Peyton
Didn't know who
Turner.
he was.
Me either. Never heard of him.
Still don't know his name.
Is that
What's his
weird?
name?
I mean, somebody's heard of him, right?
Peyton Turner?
Sure. I mean, I'm trusting.
Anybody out there?
I'm trusting Mickey Loomis. I'm trusting Sean Payton. I mean, if they see that this is bad. The Saints were making news yesterday. I mean, it really felt like they were trying to get into the top 10. I mean, it felt like they were trying to make a move to get into the top 10 for at least
corner,
a play at a corner, or maybe even a quarterback. I didn't know if they were trying to get into the quarterback sweepstakes.
Well, what I've heard is apparently he showed out at the Senior Bowl, so we might have to give Mr. Nagy a call.
Yes,
shoot him a text and see if this was a star of the Reese's Senior Bowl. We don't know.
We absolutely.
We have boots on the ground over there.
We'll dive into to that story because Nagy, of course, is the president and CEO of the Reese's Senior Bowl, and right now he is he's all over the place. I was watching draft coverage from the NFL Network to ESPN, and Nagy was all over each coverage last night. Terrace Marshall still on the board. More surprising to see a couple of wide receivers to come off the board last night than to see him still there. I thought that he was definitely going to be a first-round pick, but then I saw a CBS report that surfaced over the last couple of weeks that we didn't pay attention to or just kind of slipped through the cracks over here. And CBS had a report after Marshall's pro day at LSU saying that Marshall's evaluation at the NFL's medical combine revealed some medical issues in his lower body. Jonas Schaefer of the Baltimore Sun was reporting this. The LSU product's injury history extends back to his high school and cropped up during his time in college as well. Per Schaefer, Marshall had a lower leg injury in high school. In his sophomore season, missed 3 games. We know the injury history, but it looks like this may have snuck up on Terrace and may have cost him a couple of draft spots.
That's very unfortunate.
Yes, it is. I can imagine that he is one of the highest-rated players on the board. As we saw some of the projections on Marshall as high as 22. I saw him going to Tennessee where they selected Caleb Farley, who it seemed like the Saints really had their eye on during some pre-draft workouts. And then Baltimore, where you got the origin of that report, per Jonas Schaefer, was seemingly the spot. I mean, last night over at LeBears, a lot of people thought that Baltimore, sitting at the at the 27th pick, was going to make the selection for Marshall. They ended up going with a wide receiver in Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota. Don't know much about him, but he's 6 foot, a lot like the guys that Baltimore has on staff on the roster. Kind of small, compact, good route runners, not a big wide receiver target like Marshall was. So we'll see what happens with Terrace in day 2. But the story of day 1 for LSU was MarrChase. Chase, one of the most decorated wide receivers in college football history, a very unique talent, went 5th overall and reunites him with LSU quarterback Joe Burrow. A stat that I learned last night that was pretty interesting, MarrChase has not caught a touchdown pass from anybody but Joe Burrow in college.
Really?
How about that? I
Wow.
mean, Burrow came in as a transfer junior. MarrChase's true freshman season was Burrow's junior year. Burrow takes every snap that year. Chase catches 3 touchdowns. And then his
Only
sophomore
3.
season.
Unbelievable.
Is that unreal?
Yeah.
His sophomore season goes over 2,000, catches 21 touchdowns, and sets all types of records. And now those guys are reunited. I mean, just the memes, the opportunities, the love now that the Bengals will get. I mean, when you're transitioning from Drew Brees in South Louisiana as a New Orleans Saints fan, and you see Joe Burrow and MarrChase up in the Midwest in Cincinnati playing alongside one another. I mean, if you're looking for, kind of a secondary team, a team that you can start to really root. I mean, the watch parties that will exist now in Louisiana for around the Cincinnati Bengals,
Yeah.
I mean, is going to be incredible.
Dude, we were already doing it just for Joe. And
Yeah.
now you get another one of our guys. I mean, dude, saying secondary, it's 1A, 1B with me right now because that 2019 team obviously will hold a special place in my heart forever. And now you have 2 of the guys that made it happen on the same team again. What a Madden
That's
run
pretty
also.
cool.
What a team to pick.
Yeah, so some facts here from Chase last night as he selected 5th overall. Chase, of course, a unanimous All-American, won the 2019 Biletnikoff, is the first LSU wide receiver picked in the top 10 in the NFL draft. Odell Beckham Jr. was picked 12th back in 2014, which was the highest wide receiver selection coming out of LSU in the history of the program. And being picked number 5 overall, Chase becomes the 8th LSU wide receiver selected in the first round of the NFL. He's also the 4th highest drafted wide receiver in SEC history. That was Amari Cooper and A.J. Green went 4th overall back in 2015 and 2011, respectively. Now as a Bengal, Chase will join, of course, his former teammate and Heisman Trophy winner, Joe Burrow. Chase became the first player in school history to surpass the 2,000-yard receiving mark. Joe Burrow, this seemed like a Joe Burrow pick last night.
Brother, he had the tweet loaded up and ready to go. Jamar hits the gritty.
I think I even think that Chase said it last night in his post-game press conference of what did Burrow tell you yesterday, and Chase said have your bags packed. So I mean I think that they knew this thing was going to happen. If Chase was going to be there at 5,
we're taking him.
Yeah,
and I think the bigger story is how much pull Joe Burrow has, and already just 1 year of being there, that they definitely consulted with him about who he wanted, because they probably asked him, you want offensive line help or you want your guy MarrChase? He's like, MarrChase.
Yeah, because let me tell you, man, the highlight film of Penei Sewell is scary.
He's wrecking
He looks
kids.
like Andrew Whitworth. That's what Whitworth looked like when he was coming out.
Just tossing, ragdolling people.
Being able to just kind of control somebody with one arm, get to the second level, get out and sprint and lead and run. Just an athlete. Just a huge athlete out on the left tackle spot. But MarrChase and Joe Burrow linked back up again. In fact, we're going to go to they're probably in Cincinnati now. Let's call Jimmy Chase here. Don't forget that daily we're brought to you by Go Chevrolet. Remember, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. In fact, Nick Richard and the crew, if you want to flash that, I emailed you that truck.
That truck, my new ride.
Yes, absolutely.
Totally picture myself in that.
Check this out from Go Chevrolet. We got a great opportunity for you from our friends. If you're an outdoorsman, or if
like me,
yes, like us,
all of us. Yeah, I'm big fishing guy here.
or if you're into new stuff, check out this $15,000 off an American luxury Coach Silverado covered under manufacturer's warranty. Come get all $15,000 for the end of the month. The offer expires on May 3rd, so you have an opportunity here. Lizzie will show the picture of this.
Hold on, it's in the wrong format because you sent me this massive file. That's all right. I know who I'm working with here. It's my fault.
American luxury Coaches Silverado. We'll show you we'll show it to you, but it's down there in Laplace, Louisiana. Check him out. Go Chevrolet. All right, let's go see Jimmy Chase, my guy. He's got to be floating on cloud 9 right now.
Jamar's outfit last night, that was my favorite.
Unbelievable.
The red carpet, that's my deal. The red carpet.
Too.
Yeah, everybody looked amazing. But his jacket was super cool.
It was.
The lining of the jacket.
Is it odd for Trevor not to be there as the first overall pick?
Very on brand.
It's very, the Clemson thing is just in his head. So weird.
Yes.
Did you see the lining of his jacket? With the little
I'm sure that's
oranges
something weird to do with Clemson, dude. It's so weird. It's such a cult.
It's kind of a cult.
God, they're weird.
Why?
I don't know. The thing is with Dabo. We got him? The thing is with Dabo is that once you commit to Clemson, he doesn't let you decommit, and if you do, you can't come back to Clemson. So
please leave your message.
Okay.
Well, dude, it's probably a long night for Mr. Jimmy. Are you kidding me? Son, we achieve a lifelong dream here with your son going 5th overall to the Bengals, a first-round pick, and then he goes and reunites with his quarterback that got him a Biletnikoff. Like, this is stuff dreams are made of.
I love the all-white Bengals look.
He wore the Bengal shoes. Did you see that little orange accent on there?
Awesome.
I mean,
the whole look was awesome.
People are talking about Thad Moss being in Cincinnati as well. So with reunited with Jamar and Joe, Thad's going to have to get healthy and make the team first before he can get on the field. I think these two guys. He's dealing with some more foot issues after he was brought in by Washington last season. Was hurt again during preseason camp and spent last year on IR. He was released at the end of the year and then picked up by Cincinnati. So first things first, I mean, he's just got to maintain health and stay, keep a availability really before he can be.
And if there's any place he can do it seems like Cincinnati, where they'll be able to like vouch for him and like, look, if we can get this guy right, he's an asset and a weapon that I've used before. Like, they're very much building this team around Joe Burrow and people that he feels comfortable with.
Oh, without question, man. I mean, he's the franchise.
He's the franchise. And the franchise says, I want MarrChase, you go get MarrChase.
Absolutely. And look, they're going to have to bring in some people to protect him. They're going to have to make some moves now. I think when you look at the draft order here, they've got some second-round picks coming up in which they're going to have to go into that part of it. I mean, they're going to have to.
Isn't that their main need?
Yes.
Finding somebody to protect him, isn't that the big deal?
That's a huge deal. But they also needed a playmaker. They needed somebody to fill that role that A.J. Green left behind. And, I mean, either way you slice it, you're going to have to get these two areas of need. You're going to have to get offensive line help, and you're going to have to get somebody on the outside that can help you in the playmaking department. And MarrChase is the best playmaker in this draft. I mean, he's a generational, he's a decade, once in a decade type talent, I think, at wide receiver. I'm not saying that he's going to come in and be the MVP of the league as a rookie, but he's going to be a problem. I mean, he is going to be an issue in the NFL off the jump, just because of what he brings to a lineup. I mean, his size, speed combination mixed in with his strength. That was the difference between his freshman and sophomore year. In talking to guys like Mickey Joseph and Joe Brady that really were around him, and his development at the time was just his commitment in the weight room, was his commitment to getting stronger. I mean, it was obvious in his sophomore season that you couldn't keep your hands on him. You couldn't jam him at the line. You couldn't pop him off the line of scrimmage. He was too fast. He was too strong, and he was too big. I mean, he is going to be a problem day one in the NFL.
Well, you can see the strength in the highlights whenever there's that one play. It's either Ole Miss or Arkansas where he catches a slant over the middle and just shrugs a guy off and then puts it in fifth gear, and you're like, oh my God, he's absolutely, there's nobody like him.
Right.
So that's why I still, Kyle Pitts, you kidding me, dude? MarrChase is the best skill player in that draft.
Yeah, and look, I don't want to discount Pitts.
I do, because I lost a little money.
But, I mean, Pitts is
no, it's the way the NFL is going, where there's just these freaks of nature. It's like the NBA. It's like the NBA was like 2 or 3 years ago, where you see these guys that are all 6'7" and can run the floor and shoot threes. Like, the game and the athletes have changed just in sports.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I hope Arik Gilbert can get it right, because if Arik Gilbert can get it right, he is Kyle Pitts.
You see the model.
I mean, he is the guy that, I mean, can fit that mold as somebody who can run, catch, run after the catch like that. I mean, all right, we got it. All right, let's go to the phone here.
There we go.
Linking up here with Jimmy. My man, how are you?
What's up, Jordan?
Good morning, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What was the first emotion? It's got to be kind of relieving that it's over, right? Where you know where you're going to be.
Yeah, I guess you could say that's really what it was, a relief.
Yeah.
So much speculation, man. This thing is crazy. This is one of the most unusual drafts of all time,
Right. More crazy process, college football recruiting or NFL draft process? What was more wild?
I don't know. The draft might have got him, because, like, the closer you got to the draft, the worse it got,
Yeah.
Especially when that Aaron Rodgers thing jumped off,
So yesterday, when did you find out that he was? Did you find out he was going to be a Bengal when we all found out?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I did. I mean, it was all the way to the end. I mean, we didn't have any clue. Atlanta was supposed to make some trades. They didn't go through. So, once they trade didn't go through, I guess that's when we knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved what Jamar said when they asked him last night. They said, "What did you hear from Burrow yesterday? Did Joe tell you anything yesterday?" He said, "Yeah, this morning." He said, "Have my bags packed." a lot of people think this was Joe's pick. I mean, just from I talked to Jimmy Burrow last night and sent him a congratulatory text. I talked to you a little bit. The first thing that Burrow sends me back is that New Orleans is hosting the Super Bowl in 2025. What were some of the thoughts that you think of when you put these two dynamic players back together at the most elite level?
Oh man, it's probably going to be like fireworks. You know, I see the difference that you know, Joe can make. Everybody talking about Joe needs some blocking, which is true. But you know, when Joe get in trouble, he know what to do. Just throw it over there to Jamal.
Yes, indeed.
You know,
absolutely. So what was this process like for you as the dad, Jimmy? How much did they get to know you? How much did like Zach Taylor, the head coach of the Bengals, how much did you get to know somebody like him through this process, or did you kind of stay on the sidelines, for a lack of a better term, there to just kind of let Jamar go through the whole deal?
No, believe it or not, we never talked to Cincinnati.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
Jamar said he had an interview with Cincinnati once. Okay? We never talked with Cincinnati. The agent never talked with Cincinnati. That's how this process goes. You know, you never know who's doing what. Everybody plays, you know, possum. And they did a good job of playing possum.
So wait, through the entire process of the pre-draft thing, Cincinnati never said a word to you guys?
No, they did one interview with Jamar, and that was it.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
They knew. They knew
right.
he was the guy.
Right. You know, and they said that's usually how it goes. Mm-hmm. You know, the agent was telling me a lot of teams, a lot of his guys that got picked by a team never talked to them, never talked to the agent and the team, you know. Because they don't want to tip anybody off.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So they had their mind.
Jimmy, explain that suit and those shoes.
So swaggy.
Amazing.
So swaggy.
My favorite part. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, y'all all looked amazing, but yeah, tell us about this.
I can't explain that. I don't know what these guys are doing. That's when he makes me feel my age. Okay.
Jimmy, I thought you looked sharp.
You looked amazing.
I thought you looked sharp. I thought
all three of y'all
the business suit. You looked very professional sitting in the green room.
Well, I'm gonna give my son credit. He picked out the suit.
I bet he did.
He picked out the suit in the color. You know, and it kind of like it went off. Yeah, I was liking it.
Feeling myself a little bit.
Yeah, y'all look good. I mean, him with the shades on, the mask on. He even had like the Cincinnati Jays on the white suit.
I know somebody said that.
LeBron feeling. It was so good.
It was. It was.
Somebody said that he knew he was going to Cincinnati because he had the colors on.
Yep.
And I never thought about that. I never thought about that.
So I saw Mickey, I saw Ogeron, I saw the LSU crew in there. It had to be good to have those guys by your side.
What? It was nice, bro. It was like we was at home again. You know, we had talked about this early in the process in the beginning. You know, when we was going to LSU, and Coach O told us, you know, we can't wait for this day. And sure enough, it all came together on that day, you know?
That's what you always say about them, right? Like that everything they said kind of worked out. Everything they said in recruiting.
Now, isn't that crazy, huh?
I know. What's
go
ahead.
No, I'm saying it just panned out just like this is.
What's next for the Chases? When is he in Cleveland? I mean, is he in Cincinnati?
No, we got to catch a plane in like 10 minutes. You know, we on our way to Cincinnati now.
Hell yeah.
You know?
Hell yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you and your family.
Yeah,
tell Jam congrats, and that the whole state of Louisiana is behind him, man. I don't know. I never thought I'd say this, but I guess I will. Who day?
Yeah,
I guess so, man.
Yeah, the lady told Jamal to say, who they? He said, what you mean, who that? Who they?
You ain't falling that far, brother.
Can't take the New Orleans out of him, baby. Congratulations. Safe travels today. We'll see you back home in South Louisiana. Thank you for giving us a little time this morning, man.
Thank you, Jordan.
Always.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Congratulations.
All right.
There's the Chases. Check it in.
How exciting, dude. I mean,
best, man.
how do you even, I guess you sleep great, but how do you even go to bed? It's like pre-Christmas.
The
Dude,
high.
Christmas is so high.
The high, man.
Dude, especially, dude, you get all suited out, like putting on a suit, like, You don't get to experience that ever.
What a proud dad.
In a room full of swag, I thought he was the swaggiest.
He really
Dude,
was.
yes, you can just tell.
But let me say this. I thought that Trevor Lawrence looked very Miami Vice-ish. I thought that he looked pretty cool in his green suit, his white T-shirt. And I'm not a Trevor Lawrence fan, buddy. It's tough for me to give Trevor Lawrence
I
compliments.
guess we have to at some point.
But I thought that the green suit fit well. He did not look as good as Jamar.
No one did.
But I will say that the number one pick, that was one of the more impressive suits that I had seen. It just felt very Miami Vice.
Oh, I do like it. He went no tie, little shirt underneath.
Yes.
Okay.
Well fit.
Yes, yeah.
Cool.
Well,
that is cool. That's cool. I like the casual vibe
I mean,
of it.
did you see the picture of Dabo Sweeney? I mean, when you make a certain amount of money in your life, I don't really care what your background is, right? Like, isn't there a point where you get to a certain tax bracket where your clothes are going to fit? Like you're going to have somebody on your staff when you get to the highest tax bracket and say, I'm never going to look like I did at a high school prom again. Like where I'm wearing my dad's sport coat and my grandfather's pleated pants, somebody else's wingtips. I mean, this guy makes...
Looks like he got dressed like 15 minutes
This
before.
guy
Yeah, he's
makes
asking for
nearly
outfits.
$8 million a year to coach college football, and he looks like he was going to the Sadie Hawkins dance. I mean, get this guy a tailor. I would put this more on his wife.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got to have some pride. I mean, if her husband is making he signed a $60 million contract with Clemson. And this is what you look like?
Bro, not even him. But Mac Jones did the same thing. They both bought off the rack. Like, you gotta. What are you doing here? This is a night where the NFL draft has absolutely swallowed up the Oscars to where this is the production of all productions. Everybody that's anybody is there in NFL and college athletics, and fringe people that don't really care about it are watching it because the production value is so high, and then you're not going to get dressed for it.
I thought Devonta Smith looked clean.
He did.
I mean, all the guys that you would expect to look
big
good.
DS on his lapel.
Yes,
I
they
love
all.
that.
Yeah, they
That
look
was
cool.
With the
cool.
big
I mean,
black
yeah.
bow tie.
Yes.
Yeah, they
On
all
the
looked
suit.
amazing.
Now, I did not get when he was buttoning his jacket, it looked like they had a rope to it.
He had like a little
it
diamond
was
chain.
It was a robe. It was like a
Robe.
robe look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Kind of like
Okay.
a smoking jacket type
All right.
situation.
Like very Hugh Hefner.
Yeah.
I thought Kyle Pitts took a gamble.
With the patches.
With the patches.
Yeah.
And the pinstripe down the leg. I mean, anything, I don't want to sound,
A fashionista.
right. But, I mean, I don't know. It just didn't come off
Hey,
well.
and
it was
that's
a
what
gamble.
the night's all about.
That's right.
Take a chance, take a shot.
chance.
I mean, MarrChase had his abs. I mean, he looks like a Bond villain. He looks
does.
so cool.
He does.
It just he does. He looked like a Hollywood character.
Yes.
He looked like a movie character when he was in the suit, in the shades, and then he hit the gritty
Just so cool.
on the way down the hall.
If you're the Bengals, you have to be so confident in that pick after everything you just saw. Like, all right, we got a star.
I mean, this guy's going to be a superstar. How do you feel about Mac Jones's walk in his?
He did I don't know if it was a joke. I don't know if he had to go to the bathroom, but he did the Vince McMahon power walk down the hallway where he was sprinting, or he might have just been like, "Don't let the Patriots change the pick. I'm going to New England." It was unbelievable.
Look at Jam.
I didn't think he looked as bad as y'all said he did.
Look, I'm about to pull him up right now. Dude,
he-
Katie, the suit does
Mac
not
Jones-
fit.
The
He
suit,
definitely
I'm
took-
looking at it right
He
now.
definitely
It's a
took the bag of
tailored
milk.
suit.
He
It's just
definitely
not,
took the bag of milk analysis and
He heard
highlighted.
me. Yes.
I think
Because
y'all
where
are
the
being
button
hard
is,
on
he's
him.
got a paunch. And there's no way you can tailor this man because of the way his body is. He has to be a 36 waist.
Probably.
Just,
But I
ugh.
think he looked good as far
No.
as what we've seen in the
No.
past. Like, he
If
cleaned
you're-
up last night.
We've heard your taste, though.
Yes.
I mean, you like butt cuts and
If you're on a blind date
boobs.
and this guy shows up dressed like this,
Do not.
and another guy shows up dressed up like MarrChase, you're like, I'm in the wrong room.
Well,
I'm with the
okay,
wrong
when you're
guy.
comparing- But
Jamar
look at
Chase's
him.
driver is here.
mean,
Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
If both these guys show up, I'm thinking, you must
mean,
be
yeah,
driving
very
this
clean.
guy,
Forget
right?
your hat in the car?
Yeah, right.
I still think he looks nice. I
Jamar,
think
you let
it's
him
a
drive
nice
without
suit.
the hat?
I think it's a nice suit. Are y'all surprised that he slid out of the top 10? Was that surprising?
No,
to
not if
y'all?
you're showing up like
Y'all-
that.
Stop.
I think
real.
I do think the steal of the draft was Justin Fields at 12.
Without a doubt. I think the people that won the draft, not won the draft, won the day, are Chicago Bears fans. With the Aaron Rodgers news where he just absolutely wants nothing to do with Green Bay, then you trade up and get Justin Fields, who I think might have been the second best quarterback in the draft. The Zach Wilson thing and how he looked at the draft, he looked very uncomfortable.
Very nervous.
Very nervous. Like, this shit got real fast.
Wait, this isn't BYU.
Yeah, where's my safety net?
Yeah, right.
People are drinking alcohol. There's sugar all around me. I don't know what to
Jamar
do.
standing next to him, flashing, like putting up this, like dropping the grid. He got the shades on. He's like, "Oh my God, I've never played about." I mean, just this is
the big leagues, dude. You just stepped into an entirely different world, and he looked bright-eyed and like in a bad way.
He did.
Yeah, like would you take a drug that you didn't want to take? Like, never mind, I should have done that. Now I've got this for the rest of these 8 hours with me.
Does life have a rewind button?
Yes, I won't want to do that again. But he did. He looked out of his element a little bit, Donnie.
Can y'all tell me about Micah Parsons, who went to Dallas? Like, what do y'all know about him? Penn State.
I thought it was kind of a blah pick.
Really?
But, I mean, he's a dog.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's one of the top defensive players in this draft. Surtain and Horn both came off of the board within the top 10, which made Dallas start to make a move. He ended up going to Dallas at 12, but that's where we saw the trade happen for Devonta Smith pop up at 10 and him go to Philadelphia. Waddle went to Miami at 7. Nothing really surprising on Parsons. I think he would probably tell you that he slipped. He fell. I mean, he was probably hoping and thinking he was going to be a top 10 pick. But, I mean, he was on that show, Hey, Rookie. Welcome,
Hey, Rookie, welcome to the NFL. He had some off-the-field concerns that I don't know if they were the biggest deal in the world, but in high school he got charged with inciting a riot.
Oh, really?
When police came into the lunchroom in the cafeteria, he yelled, "Gun."
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious. And so that kind of followed him around a little bit. They compared him to like a little bit of a diva shouldn't be a diva at that position.
Okay.
So that could be a reason. The NFL draft, these people have too much time on their hands. They look way too much into stuff.
Yeah.
And that's probably what happened not only with Michael Parsons, but also with Justin Fields. Like that should have been a no-brainer.
Yeah, but here's the deal on all that stuff. I think that stuff is fraudulent to the to the degree of you hire what am I thinking of? People that follow people around.
Like investigators,
Yeah.
like PIs.
PI to follow these guys around. You buy plane tickets on flights, 2 rows back from them to see how they treat people. Yet you see something like Jameis Winston needing eye surgery to slip through the cracks for 4 years. And this guy's the number 1 overall pick.
He's squinting on the field for
we're doing
3
all
years.
This. We're gonna break this stuff down all the way to a 40-yard dash in tights. Yes, the Barstool rock stars.
Walk on in. Let's go.
Boys.
Sup, fellas?
How we feeling, boys? How we feeling? The time of the party shut down.
Big time to start.
Good.
Big time.
Yes,
Good.
let's take a break. Let's reset.
Let's reset
we'll come
the
back,
stage.
and we will set up here on the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Go Chevrolet. Don't forget, every day we are brought to you by Relief Health. Get in touch with Relief Health today and let them help you, because they are changing the way that healthcare is brought to you in 2021. All you got to do is download the app, Relief Health, over at Apple and your Google app stores. They have the Moderna vaccine right now. They will come to your employer and administer to the employees on the site, in the office. Download the app right now, Relief Health, from Apple and Google app stores. It's the way to Relief is the best way and the only way to get your health care in 2021. When we come back, we got a couple of superstars in the UDL. We got Playboy Marty. We got Barstool Cincy. They're going to hang out with us for a little bit here on a Friday morning. We'll be back here on the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Go Chevrolet. What's up, boys? Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy at jordyculotta.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy at jordyculotta.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Welcome back into the Jordy Culotta Show live on this Friday from the UDL, getting set for a weekend here in which LSU baseball is going to host the #1 team in the country in the Arkansas Hogs. Tough to really fathom how much better Arkansas can be better than the rest of the country. I mean, LSU has seen some of the heavyweights in the sport, some of the best in the conference, but Arkansas has been ranked #1 this week in every college baseball poll, and all the Razorbacks are tied with Vanderbilt for first place in the overall and SEC standings. Arkansas leads the nation in home runs this season with 74. #1 in runs scored, on-base percentage, #6 in the country in batting average. So LSU and Arkansas this afternoon coming up from the box. It's going to be a good moment at the box as they welcome in two superstars, local superstars, back. I don't know if it'll be quite the reception that you got at Swayze Field.
Yeah, I don't know that anything's going to be that.
But it will be.
Probably won't be Starkville either.
I tell you what, though, buddy, it's going to be monumental because the place is going to be packed for the first time all season. It's going to be 100% capacity, and I'd imagine that tonight, if any, is that I could guarantee would be a raucous, good atmosphere. It would be Game 1 just because of people dying to get out, and if you're out there, you'll see Barstool Sports and Playboy Marty as they are back in town. Fellas. Sup, fellas?
Yeah, man. Glad to be here. And look, been a big fan of the Jordy Culotta Show. Love being in Mr. Culotta's neighborhood on
the UDL,
on this Friday morning. And had a big time at LaBerge last night for the NFL draft. Thank y'all for coming out. But Playboy Marty and I, when we got to Barstool, you're kind of evaluating everything you want to do. And we just couldn't believe how little Barstool had done with college baseball. And they want us to help grow us in the South and Southeast. So just immediately, let's build this. So we're out on the road. Thanks to Katie, we did Ole Miss State and Starkville, did Swayze Field for LSU Ole Miss, and now we're here at Alex Box. And so to hit the dude, Swayze, and Alex Box on this trip, I think that's a good start. We're getting a huge response.
Incredible start, and getting to 3 of the great venues in college baseball. Amazing some of the untapped territory that Barstool has, considering the demand and footprint that they have on sports media right now. You guys are the absolute heavyweights in the space, yet there's really no SEC coverage. There's no college baseball coverage, and you guys kind of come in at a perfect storm. Marty and I were talking about it last night. I mean, just the opportunity that the SEC offers you guys right now.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, just for there to be so little, Southeastern coverage, like we kind of have that all to go take. It's not just Louisiana, Mississippi. So yeah, no, that's kind of how we've been thinking about it a little bit. Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's awesome being back here. Look, you look. I know LSU's certainly not having the season we're used to at 6-12 in the SEC, but they still got a ton of young talent on this team. They've gotten the best of Arkansas, even when Arkansas is good in this series. For whatever reason, I've been seeing we're 5 years from the Rally Possum stuff. I've been seeing a lot of posts about that on social media, but thrilled to be back at the box and looking forward to land. Marceau didn't have his best game last Thursday in Oxford, but he's had a spectacular season. And I want to give a shout out here. I mean, we're back in Baton Rouge. Marty's 30th birthday today.
Let's
go.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Happy birthday. Stick around. We're cooking. We got some cocktails coming this morning. We drink on Friday morning.
Gentlemen's Friday.
Gentlemen's Friday.
Absolutely.
But thrilled to be back in Baton Rouge. I know he's excited to be back here after going to LSU and working down here. And so I think we're going to have a very large time around
Take
this
me
town.
to New York, fellas. Take me to the experience. We talk to Mintz every Friday, and we love catching up with him, and we get kind of caught up in the life and times of Barstool Mintzy. But how about for you, Playboy? What's it been like in this journey, kind of riding shotgun with the superstar here as the star has shined pretty bright over the last couple of months?
I would say the day-to-day is probably pretty similar. Like, we go to work, go home. I'm probably there a little later because the production, maybe it takes a little more time. But it's been, I don't know, it's been great to be along for the ride. And when people, I really started to feel it in Oxford because people know, like, I don't know, people that know him know who I am because of all that. Yeah. And they know I went to LSU, so I came the first on game one of that LSU Ole Miss series, and I was wearing LSU gear just because I didn't think anything of it. Yeah, I'm going to LSU game. I'm going to wear LSU gear. And I'm just hearing, like, Playboy Marty, F you. they all know who I am. So that was, like, the first bubble where it's like, okay, like, now we're kind of really here.
Absolutely.
We got more room in this room right now than we do in our closet.
That's true.
That's good, though. That's good. That'll be a great chapter of the book. I mean, it'll be a phenomenal chapter when you look back on your first spot in Manhattan. Mintzy, take me to Oxford last weekend. What was it like going back to a town that I know people that have gone to Ole Miss during your time there.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty vague statement. No?
Very much, very broad. It's a big window, right?
Starting Eli to Chad Kelly.
But you've got this status in Oxford already. So you carry this status with you to the true rebels that have been there on campus. But then you go back with your Barstool fame last weekend for the first time, and I can tell, in knowing you and being a friend, that it really hit you. I mean,
it looked last week, because overall I've lived in Oxford 3 different times in my life for over 10 years. I was there from 01 to like 08. My last couple of years, I just dropped out of school and was just playing poker full time, hanging out in Oxford. Went back in 14 and 15 to finish when I was 31, and then I went back for 3 months for COVID last year, right when I got laid off in Shreveport-Bossier. I went back and just played online poker. So I've done 10 years. And the amount of time I've spent in that town to come back and get that kind of reception, I'm talking this Barstool thing, it's out. I'm glad I lost weight because I took about 4,000 pictures. Glad I'm looking pretty photogenic.
Dude, the before and after had to feel great.
Oh, anytime I was in public, that was what's so crazy. Like, I'm a big part of left field tailgate, and we throw down out there. But when I'd walk in front of left field or walk in the library, sports bar, anywhere that was like a super public place, man, I mean, to walk in the room, I could feel it popping when I walk in, and I'm just like, this is the damnedest feeling I've ever had. I've never, to carry that kind of power, it was, I mean, I'm kind of blown away just talking about how big it was. And then the thing is, look, LSU has such a huge presence in the national media. I mean, one of the biggest, there's so many LSU guys everywhere. Ole Miss doesn't.
Yeah.
Ole Miss has been kind of searching for a voice for a long time. And obviously we have some, and Wright Thompson's been great, and I think still does a great job. But overall, you don't see near that kind of announced presence of Ole Miss like you do of LSU. They're everywhere, ESPN, you know. And so I think Ole Miss fans, I walked into a great spot because Ole Miss fans have been searching for a voice. And then also, to be truthful, Brandon Walker did such a good job at Barstool, and so much of what he does is the anti-Ole Miss thing with State. I walked into such a likable role because everybody was just like, anybody that'll give crap back to him will be well liked. But it blew me away, the support I'm getting from Oxford and just Mississippi in general. And then it's also just awesome to be back in Baton Rouge because I was here for 3 months last year. But, man, I've known you for 5 years now. Look, I love Baton Rouge. I mean, I said I love coming back here, and I think I love that LaBerge, is owned by Penn, and so I'll continue to come back here once every couple of months for good, and then with Louisiana sports gambling coming up especially.
Yes, absolutely. Speaking of sports gambling, we saw Representative John Stefanski last night at LaBerge as he was chopping it up with a couple of politicians and lobbyists. Last night watching the NFL draft. Seems like things are trending in the right direction for not only the gambling and the sports bill, which we will get in an update on, but the marijuana bill in Louisiana. Heads up.
Had some conversations on that.
Fellas.
Recreationally getting out of the Senate. Heads up,
The
boys.
sticky of the icky.
Yes. And Stefanski talking about that last night at the table. So lots to get to. But this sports gambling bill, I know that you guys are monitoring that a ton up at Barstool and up in New York and just kind of seeing what happens.
Well, Penn Gaming has a huge presence in Louisiana. LaBerge, Baton Rouge, also LaBerge, Lake Charles, Margaritaville, Bossier, owns Boomtown on the West Bank, and NOLA. And so Louisiana is one of our key states. And when I got hired, I was so excited about that because of, I've lived in Monroe, Shreveport, Baton Rouge, and NOLA. I'm pretty tied in most places. And the sports gambling's coming. The big thing I'm watching now is the thing with the app. Because, we know sports gambling's coming. But, why not just go ahead and fully embrace it? And if Louisiana, everybody needs money coming out of COVID. You want to have the mobile betting and app so people can be sitting like I am on this couch and just play stuff. So you don't have to just, go all the way to the casinos. And so that's the big thing. It's one thing to embrace it and have it legal, but if you're going to go this far, go ahead and just give the app and then maximize your revenue.
Absolutely. And that kind of opens up the door for you guys, right? That just kind of brings you guys in.
Yeah, definitely. I think, it only helps. And, gambling laws are just kind of weird because first they have to pass it. They have to pass it in general, and then they have to pass the means by which you can actually do the gambling. So it just gets all, muddy like that.
Yeah. All right, fellas, so we got $250 a piece for you guys over at Harper's Haberdashery, the Sam Willard spot over there on Highland Road. And he's got a couple of pieces that'll probably kind of fit, right down you guys' alley. He's kind of an Ole Miss, kind of a crunchy kind of guy, you know what I mean? He's had his fun.
Still gonna have money.
He's had his fun. $250 will get you in the door over there at Harper's.
Oxford loves me now. So.
Let's get him a couple of basketballs here and give him a couple of shots. We're gonna turn the set over for a couple of minutes. You guys are gonna stick around, but we're gonna bring in our chef this morning. As Annie Milneck is over here from the Redstick Spice Company. She's going to make us up a couple of cocktails, a couple of good eats this morning here. And before we bring her into the conversation, let me remind you that we're brought to you daily by RMB Builders. Remember, online at rmb-builders.com is where you can get in touch with Rhett Bourgeois and his crew. Rhett's going to be over here on, hopefully in addition to the UDL that he's going to be taking a look at on Monday. All the work that he's done over at Katie's house, so he can help you with anything from a custom home design. He can help you anything that you may be looking to get remodeled. If you need something commercially done, he's got a commercial license, rmb-builders.com. Rhett Bourgeois and the crew, get in touch with him over at RMB Builders, the official contractor here of the Jordy Culotta Show. Mincy and Playboy are in the studio here. We're going to get them fed. We're going to get a couple of cocktails to them here on this Friday morning. We'll continue our draft discussion and coverage. We'll also preview this LSU-Arkansas series. We'll ask the boys what they think about the transfer portal and how it's going to be affecting college basketball and college football. Lots to get to on this Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered every day by Go Chevrolet. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, jordy@jordyculotta.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. jordy@jordyculotta.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Relief Health, the only way to get your health care in 2021. In your home or on site, Relief is changing how health care is delivered to you. No more doctor's offices, no more waiting rooms. Download the app today, Relief Health, from the Apple or Google app stores. You can get connected to a local doctor in your community or just order a test directly without talking to a doctor. Their COVID tests are live, and right now they have the Moderna vaccine. Online at reliefhealth.com or download the app from your Apple or Google app stores now. Relief Health, changing the way that healthcare is brought to you in 2021. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy at jordyculotta.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy at jordyculotta.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Welcome back into a Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. We got a full house here at the UDL. We got the two superstars in town from Barstool, Playboy Marty and Barstool Cincy, on the set with us, talking a little bit about the NFL draft. They'll be at the box tonight for LSU Arkansas Game 1. They'll be here through the weekend. Playboy's celebrating a birthday. We're celebrating it with a Gentleman's Friday, as we got a cocktail here before 8 a.m. for you here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
Very much like the Courtney household.
Yes, indeed. Compliments of our friend, Annie Milneck from Redstick Spice Company. You can find her online, redstickspicecompany.com. And she's all over social media, and she has a great menu for us this morning. Good morning, Annie. How are you?
Good morning. Really good.
Tell me what we're eating, because we've got our food displayed here on our centerpiece. What we have here. Playboy's already jumped into his cocktail. Lloyd's already downed his behind the camera there. Katie's sipping on hers. What's on the menu?
So we have a Moroccan pastilla. It's a meat pie, and I'm going in,
Annie.
Yeah, So lots of warm spices like cinnamon and that sort of thing, some heat, a harissa mayo, and pickled onions. So it's for the perfect bite, you need a little bit of the mayo, a little bit of the pickled onions, and you take a bite. But I brought it because it's portable and great for something like this. But we were talking the other night. I have an instructor that teaches really fun classes with me. And he's like, what if we did a class on Hot Pockets around the world?
Wow.
And I
Look
was
at
like,
everybody's head perked up in the
Right.
Hot Pocket.
And I was mad because I didn't think of it. But you go into almost any culture, and it's usually a street food, but there's a Hot Pocket in every culture. So, of course, we have Natchitoches meat pies in Louisiana.
Absolutely.
You know, there's an egg roll. That's an easy one. Empanadas. But this is called pastilla, and it's usually a big traditional pie. We made it our own by making it into a little individual hand pie, harissa mayo, so you've got tartness from the onions. It's kind of spicy, nice buttery pastry.
It's a different pastry. It's a different like dough. What the bread is great.
That's why.
Super buttery, super
Like
buttery.
the croissant almost.
Nice little crunch of salt. But inside, you know,
Must be nice.
in Morocco they use pigeon. I did not use pigeon.
Okay, thank you.
I was like,
Whoa.
that's what it tastes like.
Thank you, Annie. This segment is over.
Yeah.
It's ground beef, and there's dried apricots in there, pine nuts.
Oh.
And then that spicy mayo is super simple. And then quick pickled red onions.
That is phenomenal. The entire taste, it continues to develop as
Yeah.
I mean, like it stays
all the
with
things.
you. Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
What are we drinking, Annie?
Okay. This is a gunpowder gimlet. Now, if you look at a traditional Mad Men
so bougie
gimlet,
over
it's
here,
not
man.
even close. But we sell teas in the shop. We're about to open a tea
Nice.
bar where a barista will steep you a cup of tea. We are pretty excited and passionate about tea. So I took gunpowder green tea and I took a bottle of gin and I steeped the gin in the gunpowder. And then I strained off the tea, and then you just put it back in your bottle. It is completely you just put it back in your liquor cabinet. Now you have a green tea infused gin. And to that infused gin, I added lemon juice. I made a salted honey simple syrup, honey, hot water, salt, and shook it with fresh lemon juice. And there's your
Pairs
gimlet.
nicely with the
It
with
does.
the
Oh, nice.
the Milneck.
Smell, I mean, everything to it, too. Okay, redstickspice.com.
Correct.
Is where you find them online. They're right here in Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway. A fantastic website.
Oh,
if you go to
thank
the
you.
website, I mean, very
Thank you.
easy to navigate, very self-explanatory. You mentioned some classes. So help me out on that. I could use some classes. Where do we get involved? Yes, we do. On
Yeah.
Tuesday night. On Tuesday night.
So Hot
next
Pocket
Tuesday.
Guy is teaching your class.
All right.
So he is amazing, knows so much about food. He's also a musician. He works at Presonus. He's just like, we're like, how did we find each other? But he is an absolute master in several areas, and we love having him with us. So cooking classes are up on our website. You can look at the schedule. You can schedule a private cooking class. And what's cool about what's happening right now is that we're able to be a little more relaxed in the kitchen with the mask mandate different now.
And the new kitchen.
Yes. We just opened up in October a really beautiful kitchen with monogram appliances, and everyone gets their own stove, and there's a pizza oven.
Wow.
So really, really fun.
Redstickspice.com. Redstickspice.com. Our Annie Milneck in here this morning serving up great Hot Pockets, which
Yeah.
are phenomenal. I mean, ultimately, that's
Right?
what they are, a breakfast
They
Hot
are,
Pocket.
yeah.
And then a incredible giblet cocktail that we're sipping on here before 8
Gunpowder.
a.m. How about that? Been soaked in gunpowder all night. What an incredible, what's that?
She's gonna shake yours up fresh.
Beautiful. Thank you, Annie,
Absolutely.
for stopping by. And
Absolutely.
everybody get to redstickspice.com. Schedule your class today. Everything's there, though, that you want at redstickspice.com. Cooking classes, you can shop online. In fact, I'm seeing that she's offering free shipping on orders that are over $75 right now if you get to redstickspice.com. Andy Milneck is in studio with us. When we come back, more.
Bitch, you got
I was
something?
saying, how do we follow you on Instagram? Because are you on the social media stuff?
All of them.
Okay, because I was gonna say you got my follow with this man. That rocket, that thing's
Thank
unbelievable.
you. Yeah, at Redstick Spice everywhere.
Okay, okay.
Perfect.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yep.
There she is. We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show.
Absolutely.
Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Relief Health, the only way to get your health care in 2021. In your home or on site, Relief is changing how health care is delivered to you. No more doctor's offices, no more waiting rooms. Download the app today, Relief Health, from the Apple or Google app stores. You can get connected to a local doctor in your community or just order a test directly without talking to a doctor. Their COVID tests are live, and right now they have the Moderna vaccine. Online at reliefhealth.com or download the app from your Apple or Google app stores now. Relief Health, changing the way that healthcare is brought to you in 2021. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy at jordyculotta.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy at jordyculotta.com to learn more. All right, good Friday vibes here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
What a
Ben
feeling.
Mintz, Playboy Marty, Annie Milneck. What a host.
What a
Can't you
rock
just
star.
feel
She
it?
crushed that,
She's
man.
a host, bro.
She crushed. The food was great.
The presence was there.
Oh, yeah.
Everything you want.
It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
She got a heck of a following on Instagram too. I just followed her.
Really?
She's almost at 7,000 followers.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hey,
they're doing some
All
things
right,
over there.
Annie. In for the looking forward to the class on Tuesday night. Hot Pockets, boys.
Hot Pocket. Hot Pockets around the world.
Playboy, I'm going to send you home with a couple of those cocktail glasses there for to paint New York City. I want them all over Barstool's offices.
Well, yeah, no, I'm going to leave them in different places and stuff. Just let people find them left and right.
Yes, yeah, like an Easter egg hunt.
Yeah.
Boys, it's great to see you down here in Baton Rouge. I love what's happening to everything what's going on in the Barstool. Tell me what you think about day 2 of the draft. You know what, Playboy, I want to talk to you about the
Sure.
NBA podcast.
Okay.
Before we get going on the NFL draft and what's going on up there, because you had an NBA following down here. You brought a lot of attention to us when we got here to Baton Rouge, when you guys got down to the radio station, because you were a huge Phoenix Suns fan.
That's right. Top of the league, baby.
And as soon as he got down here, Phoenix was in the bubble and going undefeated.
They were doing more than going undefeated, but
Right? Yeah, they were. They absolutely were.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
But then they pick up Chris Paul in the offseason, bro, and now
and that probably doesn't happen without the bubble. So no, things have been really crazy since we got the call up to Baton Rouge for sure about that. Yeah.
And you're hosting the NBA podcast, right?
Producing, and I'm on the mic, and more of a presence than I would say a lot of producers have. Yeah.
And what is the NBA? What's the feeling around the NBA in Barstool? Because there are some certain sports that you guys are tied to more than others,
Right.
and the NBA is not one of them.
No.
Though it's a very marketable league. What is the stance? What's the feeling there?
Yeah, I mean, it's just I think in the Northeast there's a lot of feelings that the regular season NBA doesn't really matter, and especially now it's hard to gamble on these days because guys are sitting out.
Yes.
You don't know. I mean, it's only one game out of 82. Like, you don't know if people are going to really bring it. Rest disadvantage, blah blah blah. So I think that has a good bit to do with it. That a lot of people just don't like gambling on it. But I mean, it is the second most popular sport in the country, and we don't have as much of a presence as we probably should with it. And
and Mincy,
but at this league, that's the podcast. Yeah,
right.
Make sure to plug it.
And Mincy, you're down here doing some work around the draft, right? You're representing the Saints on some draft coverage that you guys.
Yeah, we had a big NFL the NFL draft show.
I saw that.
Yeah, it does, because I guess for marketing stuff. But we had like a show with the whole Barstool team on a StreamYard last night, and I was the Saints guy. But everybody that has ties to their team comes on for their pick, and I was pretty heartbroken on the stream with Elijah Moore, because I was just like, man, Elijah Moore, the dog pee in Starkville, helped get Lane Kiffin to Oxford. He scored the touchdown against Kentucky that helped give to Barstool. I was like, he's coming to NOLA, and this thing's going full circle.
That would have been an all-timer.
But the Saints had other ideas. But a lot of talk of the Saints front pick. I mean, look, I have a lot of faith in Jeff Ireland and the Saints scouting. I used to not. From 14 to 16, they bombed a bunch of drafts. They know a hell of a lot more than I do about this stuff, and the Saints have a great D-line, and so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. A lot of other people on social media think they know everything. I haven't spent 300 hours scouting all these prospects. So, if you look at how good the Saints' defensive line's been the last few years, I'm sure there's a reason they went with Peyton Turner over him. So.
I said the same thing. I said, look, man, I don't know anything about Peyton Turner.
Me either.
I'm not going to act like I know anything about Peyton Turner. I didn't know even Peyton Turner played college football until last night at about 9:59 p.m. Man,
to be honest,
I had no idea that he was even on a roster. But what I will is I will trust Jeff Ireland, Mickey Loomis, Sean Payton, who have proved over the last, especially couple of seasons, that they are one of the most dominant draft teams out there. I mean, and you're right. For a while, there was a window where, I trusted my kids' fourth grade class more than I trusted them to make moves.
Especially on the defensive side of the football.
It was bad. I mean, the Stanley Jean-Baptistes of the world,
Oof.
I mean, just were incredible. With, guys like Jarvis Landry on the board when you make that pick. But I trust them. I mean, if they believe that Peyton Turner is the right pick that they need right now on a roster that is very, very talented, then I'm with it. I got no problem in trusting that that's the right pick for right now. I did.
Has Cesar Ruiz weighed that confidence at all?
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little. I mean, I think even the McCoy Ruiz
transition was
Yes,
odd.
it
And
was.
then I would say, does this pick waver you at all in terms of how you feel about Marcus Davenport? Because we go defensive end again.
Well, they picked up his fifth-year option, but I think maybe they're making this. I think they might be making this pick knowing they're not going to pay him long term.
Yeah,
possibly. But the thing is, when you look at the Saints' success, I mean, the defensive line last year was just ferocious, and they realize that's the calling card of that defense, and they're continuing to invest in that. I don't have a problem with it winning in the trenches. I know it's a little boring for the fans, but you know what? Football games are decided in the trenches. So.
Absolutely, and I agree with you. And you got to have in a 2021 NFL, you got to have pass rushers. Yeah. You got to have guys that can get to the quarterback. What do you guys make of this Aaron Rodgers situation? Do you think he will ever play football again in Green Bay? Because Green Bay is the day after the demands is holding steady and saying, "Look, we're not taking any calls." John Lynch in San Francisco said they called 2 nights ago. I got to imagine that Sean Payton and Loomis in Ireland were working the phone up at Green Bay yesterday asking if it was a possibility to get Rodgers out of that situation. They're saying no, but Rodgers is saying he's done. What do you think on this?
I mean, I think he shouldn't. I think he's far and away earned the right to not play there anymore. I mean, and then you go and you see what Brady's doing at 43. He gets everything he wants. I think he has every right to want out of there, especially with how little help they've given him.
Well, it took Tom Brady to leave for him to kind of get what he wanted. Like, he put the pressure on New England, and they kind of kicked the tires on him, like, no, we're not going to do that. And then he was like, fine, I'll leave. And Aaron Rodgers is in a very similar situation. Like, all right, if y'all want to call my bluff, I'm set. Like, I'm good with my money. So I can...
Yeah, and I'm usually very anti-players wanting out. Like, you signed a contract, play it out, but... That just seems like a situation. He's given them everything he has, and they haven't returned the favor. So,
and look, you got to look at too. Last year they almost made the Super Bowl. They had an incredible year. Jordan Love didn't even dress out their first-round pick last year. They took a backup running back and A.J. Dillon in the second round. They never gave Rodgers one first-round receiver in his entire tenure. I just feel, I don't know. I can understand how he's frustrated.
Last 10 first-round selections for the Green Bay Packers, 9 out of 10 of them have been on the defensive side of the ball, and that 10th pick was Jordan Love, who they drafted to replace Rodgers. So, I mean,
insane.
It's nuts. I mean, he's playing at an MVP caliber level and has been for, at least the last 5 seasons, 6 seasons. I'm like you.
And they were good as hell last year. Who's to say they weren't one player away?
I agree. Well, I think that was his sentiment.
Yeah.
I mean, even 2 years ago, he was thinking you're a player away and you draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
What is the mindset? And I'm like you. I usually side and am pro team, pro club in the sense of you signed it, you knew what you were signing, you knew the situation. But when you look at this scenario, the ways that they have just really undercut Rodgers.
So bizarre.
It is
Insane.
so weird because it is the most demanding position in sports when you're looking for a quarterback, when you don't have one. Watch the New Orleans Saints if Winston doesn't work out or Hill doesn't work out or they can't find the guy, and just going back to a situation in you take for granted. You can get to a point where you take for granted having that position, but when you don't have a quarterback, ask the Chicago Bears.
Right. Yeah. No, the lack of loyalty and gratitude really is astounding when you think about it.
I mean,
he's given them everything. We're not talking about a guy that's been there 3 or 4 years. He spent his entire career there, and he's 37. And look, it kind of feels like last year was the big hurrah too. They were so close. They had the home field advantage, which is so big, in Lambeau in January, and they lost. And I don't know. It just feels like a huge hangover.
The field goal. Just kick the field goal.
I mean, that's why I loved his stint on Jeopardy. My guy, whose decision was it to kick the field goal?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. And it seems like he loves that. I mean, I know that it's kind of strange to talk about, but
he's good at it.
I mean, he's good at it, and he's obviously very passionate about hosting Jeopardy. I mean, you usually don't see people of his stature tell you, lifelong goals that they haven't accomplished. But you can tell he's almost like kind of a kid in a candy store in the sense of, I'm giddy and doing this. I mean, and like you said, he's good at it.
He gets a little bit of leverage, I guess.
A little bit. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Those jobs pay well, dude.
I'll just go, what? I mean, Sajak is making what, bro?
Money hand over
10
fist.
to $12 million a year.
Well, then there's we talked about this before, but the Dan Patrick, was it Drew Carey scenario? He had no idea how much they made on The Price is Right. And he's like, well, we won't tell you the terms of the deal until you accept it. So he said, well, I'm not in that business. Like, I'm set. I'm good. It turns out to be like $90 million. He's like, oh, I messed up big time.
Yeah, man.
and Drew Carey just stumbled in there like, I'll take it. Oh,
Well, they film like 30 episodes a day.
Yeah,
so
that's
like,
it.
that's how the Price is Right's a hard job. Yeah.
But you get paid. You
Oh,
get,
yeah.
you get
Oh,
that
yeah.
lump sum quick, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Move product.
Oh, yeah.
Daily, we're brought to you by AdvantaClean. Remember, online at AdvantaClean.com. ADVANTA clean.com is where you can find them. Give them a call today. That's Bradley Lynch over there, and he can help you with water, fire, and mold damage. 369-5228 locally in the Baton Rouge area. 225-369-5228. Water, fire, mold to help you out over at AdvantaClean. They can do that today and help you with if you see water damage around the house, if you see fire or smoke damage around the house, they can help you in getting that cleaned up over at AdvantaClean. Get in touch with them at AdvantaClean.com online. Barstool Mincy in town here for the weekend. What's the travel schedule been like for the last couple of weeks?
Man, we've done the damn thing.
Good
Well,
Lord.
look, my vision, I say this all the time with Barstool, I'm not there to help us in Chicago or Philly or Boston or New York. We got all that. I'm here to expand our South and Southeast, and I'm also targeting Colorado and Texas. And so it's all about getting on the road, taking the word to the people of the great South. And so I flew to Memphis, went to Ole Miss State and Starkville. I want to thank Katie. You really hooked up. I can't say enough how nice that ballpark at Starkville was. Look, I've been around. It's on a level I hadn't seen, and I'm obviously a huge Ole Miss guy. Going to the box, even those states that's on a different level.
It's on a different level.
No, it's on a completely different level.
It looks like
with
it.
the architecture and the atmosphere was unbelievable. And overall, I had a great time at Starkville. And look, 90% of the fans couldn't have been nicer to me. I mean, I had like a line of state people saying thank you for putting an emphasis on college baseball at Barstool. I think I caught the 1% on the way out on that video. But the frat kids, I had a really funny story. So I had my shoe was untied. I had a frat kid behind me who saw my shoe was untied after state won. He goes, "If you're a fat ass kid, tie your shoe and get the, something
Say whatever
back
you
to,
wanted, yeah.
say something back to Oxford." And right when he did that, I said, I looked at my buddy. I said, "Video now," because we got to live off that state Ole Miss vitriol. And so that was that video that went off. All the state fans getting on it with me. But then we did that. I went to Oxford. Went kind of laid low, took care of the vaccine thing, beginning of Oxford week, which was great. And then did the LSU series, got the football, the Ole Miss athletic department can't be nicer to me, and I've got a great relationship with them. Got to do a video with Lane.
Yeah.
Got to hang out with Marshall Henderson, which was really fun. He's as advertised, by the way, Jordan.
No doubt.
We partied with him till 2 a.m. one night.
Great,
He's
coolest guy ever.
I bet.
Like, I want to travel the world
Well,
with
I mean,
Marshall Henderson.
Sweaty, I bet.
And Playboy Marty told me at 2 a.m. I mean, he was like, where,
Oh, yeah.
where are you boys going?
It was
Yeah.
even later than that. I think it was like 3.
It was a rain-
He
it was a-
getting to an Uber.
It was pouring down, rainy night. I was like, dude, we gotta, this is what we gotta avoid here.
I'm
I'm
going
37.
somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm 37. One of the funniest Marshall Henderson quotes. So I asked him, I said, "Did you ever feel like it was dangerous playing in Iraq?" He goes, "You kidding me? I am the danger." I was just like, this is perfect.
That was within like 5 minutes of meeting him.
I love you, Marshall.
Yeah, and I know you know Kermit Davis.
Yes.
Kermit and me, I've got to be. He's a big fan of Barstool, and we've gotten pretty close. And I spent a bunch of time. Saw
He's
him
a
and
good
John.
dude, man.
Saw
Yeah,
him and
Kermit
John
was
Brady were kicking it
Yeah.
at the City Grocery Bar, and they were going to play golf at Old Waverly. So I got to kick it with them a good bit, and then Kermit couldn't be nicer, and so I got to do stuff with the athletic department. And then I gotta say, I mean, LSU should have swept Ole Miss.
Yeah.
That comeback on Saturday, I mean, 9-1 in the bottom of the 8th, and Ole Miss hits a grand slam and a
It's a
3-run
backbreaking
bomber to
loss,
tie, and then a walk off. And that was, look, I've been going to games up there for 20 years. That was the wildest comeback I've seen, and we had a big video that a lot of LSU fans had thoughts on at the end. But no, look, what I said to everyone though, of the 3 major sports, that was the first game Ole Miss won against LSU this year. They were about to be 0-6 in football, basketball, and baseball. And so all the LSU fans are getting on me. I'm like, man, you should be happy with what you have. You won 83% of these damn games. I understand they're salty because they blew a big lead, and it's been a tough season, and they thought with the sweep they were going to kind of get momentum going again. But, I mean, I'm just like, man. And people kind of come at me sometimes like, oh, y'all, this is how Ole Miss fans celebrate losing a series. Dude, it's the biggest comeback we've had in 20 years in Swayze. I mean, I'm dang sure going to enjoy it, you know? Aren't sports supposed to be fun? Isn't that the point of it? And then being an Ole Miss fan, you know, we don't win all the time, so we got to enjoy the good times.
I hated filming that one.
What a brutal spot to be in. Like, keep the cameras on. Like, I hate this.
No, I was like, hey, they're going. This is the perfect shot for a video. We got to go. I'm mad, but we got to go. Like,
And then Marty Mush was just terrified looking at it, too. He's like, what is going on with these SEC fans?
Dude, Mush was like trying to give out high fives. He was totally lost to where he was. He was just like, what is happening out here? Like, I'm not from this area at all.
Yeah.
What is
he couldn't have looked more New York either. He
Yes.
had like a bomber on. And like,
95 degrees outside.
what's Lane like?
So he's super aloof, and so I met him the 23 hours before the Auburn game, so I knew I wasn't going to get to talk to him too much then. And then this time I set up, so through Chris Partridge, our co-defensive coordinator, DMs me, and he's helping run a lot of the marketing stuff you're seeing at Ole Miss, the come to the SIP and the party in the SIP.
Really?
That's going through him a lot.
Really?
And our new defensive line coach, Marquise Watson, couldn't be cooler, so we got to be boys with them. But Lane, he was just like, Partridge, I'll coordinate it through him. He's like, Lane's going to do whatever you want. 3 o'clock, he's going to walk out, just do a quick video with you. And so he walks out, kind of says hello. Did smile a little more, you know, than the first time. We just did a quick video inviting Big Cat and Dave to come. And Lane said LSU weekend in the video.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because we're really, that LSU weekend in Oxford, from everything I'm talking, this is going to be something October 23rd. But did the video, and then he just walked right back. So I've met Lane twice, and I've spent a total of 3 minutes with him. So,
Yeah.
But it's funny. He's got the introvert personality, and he's a monster behind Twitter. It makes sense. He's like, I can do all this marketing without having to talk to people. So it makes sense. It's kind
I
of
love
brilliant.
his style.
I would kill to find Lane Kiffin's username on Reddit.
Oh, my God.
Kill for that.
Right.
I think we have an idea of what it is. It kind of leaked out maybe a couple of years ago.
But I love his style, bro. I mean, I really do. I love his. Any insight on what happened to the offensive line, coach?
I hadn't heard any insight. It seemed very weird because Ole Miss led. Fun fact: Ole Miss led the SEC in rushing last year, which has never happened because they never can run the ball.
Had to be some bullshit off the field.
Yeah, 100%. But man, to think about though, to get canned by Lane, I mean, Lane, we're not.
You really had to screw up.
The standards, bro. I mean,
I was surprised by it for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Ben Mintz and Playboy Marty in the UDL. What's on tap for the weekend? How are we celebrating the birthday? I mean, we're boozing before 8 a.m. over here.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
Well, you're welcome.
No, appreciate it.
Redstick Spice Company.
Yeah, Redstick Spice Company, great spot. I think we're just kind of making some radio rounds. Gonna eat some crawfish later. Go to the ball game and probably get into something late night. Haven't really decided yet, but
His folks are coming down too.
Yeah. Mom and Dad are
Nice.
coming down. Yeah.
And we're staying at LeBear's all weekend till Sunday. Going to the LSU Arkansas tonight and tomorrow night, and then finally ending the 16-day Southern journey.
Yeah.
Sounds like you are the danger.
Yeah, man, feels like it.
Give me that contact on Marshall Henderson, boy.
Oh, we make that happen. Oh, he's all about it. Look, he's all about it. He pulled us aside. He's like, y'all come to me with anything you need. Don't go to the school because the school miss was blocking during the season, was blocking his media stuff. He's like, don't worry about them. Just come to me.
Could be a Jordy Culotta show special right here, bro. Get me Marshall Henderson's
He was
contact.
made for the Jordy.
He's
Culotta
made
show.
for the Jordy.
He is.
Yeah.
He absolutely is. Boys, I'm proud of you. Love
Oh
you.
man,
Great to see you.
Look, Jordy,
thanks
you've
for last
been.
night.
Look,
Thanks for
Jordy's
last
been.
night.
I'll say this publicly, man. You've been unbelievable to me since. I mean, I guess almost over 4 years now. Going back to 2017, and man, anything I can always do, I'll always love coming on here, and
Absolutely.
hope this is
Keep
still just
shining
beginning.
bright, boys. Keep shining bright. Give me a couple of jump shots on the way out. You got $250 in gift cards over at Sam Harper's at Harper's Haberdashery if you want to stop over there. You don't have to do them sitting down. You can stand up. You don't have to do anything
That
on
was
the
all. I
microphone.
almost got that one.
Yeah, almost means
No,
nothing.
you're
down
right.
Here,
Well,
Mincy.
I mean, you should see me shoot a basketball. It's usually almost as accomplishment.
let us make sure and get this camera angle right. Did you hit it?
No,
No. You got one more.
can't book them all though.
That's good.
Oh,
Yeah? Okay. All right. Get over there and spend your $250 and tell Sammy that you got it here from the Jordy Culotta Show. Boys, enjoy the weekend back in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Great to see you. Barstool Mintz and Playboy Marty in town. We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, daily over here, we're brought to you by Nevadis. Nevadis is changing and custom designing websites and mobile applications for you. You can find them online at nevadis.com. Randall Knockman and his crew, you see the hat every day. Some of the things that they have automated for businesses around town include order management, inventory management, communications like audio, video, and the chat screen. task management, time tracking, all online at Nevadus.com. Nevadus designs and develops custom web and mobile applications for you. Get in touch with them over at Nevadus.com. We're back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
The Dome Patrol thing, I didn't see that. I love that. Grew up on the Dome.
Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy at JordyCulottashow.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy at JordyCulottashow.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in LaPlace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Relief Health, the only way to get your health care in 2021. In your home or on site, Relief is changing how health care is delivered to you. No more doctor's offices, no more waiting rooms. Download the app today, Relief Health, from the Apple or Google app stores. You can get connected to a local doctor in your community or just order a test directly without talking to a doctor. Their COVID tests are live, and right now they have the Moderna vaccine. Online at reliefhealth.com or download the app from your Apple or Google app stores now. Relief Health, changing the way that healthcare is brought to you in 2021. Welcome back into a Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. Love the Friday vibes here.
Unbelievable.
I mean, we weren't even really like shooting for a vibe, but we have landed,
the
in
vibe.
Paradise, boys.
It really
I'm
is.
so chilled out now from that gimlet. It's
You
just
better
like,
be.
What
2
else?
giblets.
I mean,
2 shots of the dome, gunpowder.
I mean, unreal, man. I love the I love the vibe of the show on Fridays. It's good here.
It's a good one.
On the Jordy Culotta Show. Thank you to Cincy. Thank you to Playboy Marty for coming in studio. Thank you to Annie.
I think
Milneck.
it's Ann. I think
I
it's
know,
And-
I know, but she looks
Okay,
like
so
an
you
Annie.
okay?
Oh yeah, you have to kind of normalize her a little bit. Ann sounds very professional.
She
Annie
does.
sounds like
She
she'll
does.
show up at the undisclosed location
It
with
does.
some hot pockets.
And you can use when you give somebody kind of a nickname, you can usually tell if you
That's
offend.
true.
You can usually tell if you offend them, and she did not. She
did
kind
not.
of perked up. She kind of liked the fact that we were personal.
guess
I haven't
do
been
give
called Annie in a
everyone
long
a
That's
time.
right. She kinda, who are you? Do I know you?
That's what they called me in high school.
Hello, Annie. Your pickled onions are fantastic.
Yes, you pickle these yourself.
It smells like a large pickled onion in here, by the way.
It's
Well,
better than what it smelled like
Masking
before.
the boy smell.
Yeah,
It's
Pickled
good.
onion and boy.
A pickled onion locker room.
yeah.
Oh,
There's
God.
about
At the undisclosed location.
there's about 3 flavors of smell in here. You
my
can guess
God.
the other one.
I listened to what may be the best podcast I've ever heard. Now,
At JordyCulottaShow.com.
I'm talking about a single episode of All the Smoke podcast with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, which is incredible. They've got great sit downs. They've got one of the last sit downs with Kobe Bryant that was featured just, I believe, a week after his death. They had a very candid and extended conversation with Bryant. If you have not seen that one, it is must watch, must listen audio and visual material that just is incredible. But yesterday, the latest edition is a sit down with Shaquille O'Neal. And, full disclosure, I think anybody that's listened to me on this platform or heard me over the years knows that I'm obsessed with Shaq. I love Shaq. I mean, Shaq was, when we were kids, he was running Baton Rouge. He was running the state. He was running the town. This was not a football town when I was my son's age. When I was, 10 years old, this was a basketball town. Everybody was going to the PMAC to watch Chris Jackson and Stanley Roberts and Vernell Singleton and Maurice Williamson and Jamie Brandon and all these names, Wayne Sims, all these guys, man. And Shaquille O'Neal was the alpha. He was the guy that was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. And as we've said before, for a kid in that time and being an LSU fan, Shaquille O'Neal was this larger-than-life figure that was so accessible. I mean, he was so you could walk up to him and he would talk back to you and he would shake your hand and he would pick you up and put you over his head and he would put you on the rim of a 10-foot goal. He would do all this stuff if you just saw him around town. Well, Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes on their latest podcast, Up in Smoke, that was published and produced on Thursday, is an hour and 7 minutes of uncut, raw storytelling Shaquille O'Neal from everything. From Dale Brown finding him on the Army base, to his relationship with Kobe Bryant, to the way that he met Penny Hardaway. I had no idea that he met Penny Hardaway on the set of Blue Chips. He didn't know who Penny Hardaway was. He's working out one day on the set of Blue Chips, and this is after he tells the story that he just figured out in the league that he had power as a player. He tells the story about the first time he sees a player talk back to a coach in a huddle. He said they go to a walkthrough early that morning. It's incredible storytelling by Shaq. They go through a walkthrough that morning, and Matty Gukas, who is the head coach of the Orlando Magic at the time during his rookie season, is telling Jerry Reynolds, the Iceman, to on a certain player to make sure that they undercut the screen or make sure that they go over the top of the screen, because whoever they're defending against, and Shaq tells the story in the name, is going to kill us if we go underneath the screen. First 3 shots of the game, first 3 possessions of the game, Jerry Reynolds comes down the court on the defensive end. He goes underneath the screen, and whoever the player is knocks down 3 3-pointers. Gukas calls a timeout, sits him down, mother F's him in the tunnel and says, we talked about this, and he's got a clipboard. Gukas has a clipboard in his hand, and Jerry Reynolds slaps the clipboard out of his hand and says, draw some effing plays up for me, and I'll play defense. And Shaq said in that moment, he thought to himself, my God, I'd never seen this. I mean, I've never seen a player talk back to a coach like that or snap back to a coach like that. And he said one of his teammates, Dennis Scott, said, Shaq, you got power, man. You got power as the player. And he said the first time he exercised that power was when he was on the set of Blue Chips and he met Anthony Hardaway. Penny didn't know who he was. Shaq said that the only way that he was going to go out and make the Blue Chips video is if they built him a court, a lot like Space Jam did for Jordan when he was making that movie. And they did that for him, and he was inviting NBA players and guys out to play. And Butch McRae, who was played by Penny Hardaway in Blue Chips, is out there working out with him. And Shaq's like, who's this kid busting everybody's ass? And his agent or one of his guys is like, man, that's Penny Hardaway. He might be the number 1 pick in the draft. He's coming out of college basketball right now, and, I mean, he potentially could be the number 1 pick. And he said that Orlando got the number 1 pick at that time, and he picked up the phone and called management and says, take Penny Hardaway, or once my contract comes up, I'm out. And he hung up the phone. And they selected Chris Webber with the number 1 pick. And Shaq picks up the phone, and he's throwing stuff around his house, mother bleeping everything. And then they make the trade for Webber for Hardaway. And he's like, oh, shit, it works.
They listened.
They listened. And he talked about how that kind of evolved into making the decision to leave the Lakers, and how that is a huge regret for Shaq, and how he wishes his career would have ended in L.A. Wow. And if his ego would have not gotten in the way when they were asking Shaq to take $120 million and they were going to pay Kobe $150 million, Shaq couldn't handle that. He couldn't deal with it. He couldn't deal with it publicly. And he said, looking back, he should have just said, I'll take the 120. You take the 150. It's your time to grow up. It's your team. And he still would have gone out and gotten his 28-10, and they'd have won 7-8 titles.
Can you tell everyone the name of the podcast again?
It's called Up in Smoke.
Up in Smoke.
Yeah, they are.
I'm sorry. All the Smoke.
All the Smoke.
All the Smoke.
And it's called that for a reason. They're very much enjoying what some of the legalities that have come through recently. So it's a very fun watch, and it's very relaxed fit for what they're doing. So it's a great listen.
Sounds like it.
Do you think that they would have won 7-8 titles? Like, what's the what was the ceiling to that team if Shaq stays in LA?
It's a good question, because they had gone in a direction where they were trying to put these superstars around them on the fourth title that they played for. They won 3 of 4. They played for 4 and won 3. They won 3 in a row, and then on the fourth one, they put Karl Malone, Gary Payton alongside Shaq and Kobe, and they ran into the Detroit Pistons with Ben Wallace and Chauncey Billups and that crew, and they destroyed them. I mean, that series was not close. And I don't know what it would have looked like into the future of Shaq and Kobe, because those early Kobe days, they weren't good. I mean, they couldn't find the pieces. They couldn't find the people to put around Kobe to play with him. And
the point where he wanted out.
Yeah.
He demanded a trade. People forget that he was like, I'm done with LA.
Yeah,
and then he came back on that and was like, no, LA's kind of where I want to be, whatever. But he ended up being a Laker for life. But he did the same thing that Shaq did. They pulled he understood that he had powers. Like, look, if things don't change around here, then I'm out.
Yeah. I was out in LA that summer. I was in LA that summer going in to that season. And there was on sports radio and all of the talking heads within the city, that was the major talking point. Was it Shaq's town or was it Kobe's town? What was it, Shaq's team or was it Kobe's team? And it was a city divided, man. I mean, I remember it being, because I was such a Shaq guy at the time. I mean, I was out there, and I was working for a sports agent doing some runner stuff. Martin Fox had me doing some stuff, and he's a big NBA guy. So I would be around these NBA circles, and we would be at like UCLA during the day watching these guys work out, and that's all these guys were talking about was Shaq and Kobe, Shaq and Kobe, Shaq and Kobe. And it was such a polarizing topic for Los Angeles at that time, and hearing Shaquille O'Neal look back on those days. He talks about his days in the dungeon at LSU, showing up. One thing that people on this podcast, or one thing that people may be listening to this, to this show, and can be old enough to remember, and if you can, Shaq really brings good perspective to it, was how good Stanley Roberts was. If you do not recall, Shaq and Stanley Roberts were on the same team for about a year and a half, but when Shaq showed up, Stanley Roberts was the best big man in America.
Wow.
I mean, for 3 straight years, for 3 straight drafts, the Orlando Magic took an LSU center with their first-round pick.
Really?
Shaq was 1992 first pick, so in 1991, they took Stanley Roberts with the last pick of the first round. Shaq and Stanley were on their first professional team together. Then the year after they took Shaq, they took Gert Hammock, who was a 7-footer from the Netherlands. And all 3 of those guys were on the same roster, but Shaq was telling early stories about him and Stanley Roberts in the dungeon, which is a basketball court underneath the Pete Maravich Assembly Center floor that have, if those walls could talk, they could tell, they would write $1 million books, but they would tell the stories of Stanley Roberts abusing Shaquille O'Neal. And Shaq tells you those stories on that podcast. And he talks about Chris Jackson. He talks about a young Chris Jackson. But he tells the stories about how good Stanley Roberts was. Now, Stanley Roberts flunked out of school and got to the league and had an okay career. He just couldn't maintain his weight.
That's too bad.
But Stanley Roberts and Shaquille O'Neal being on the same college basketball team and not having anything to show for it is one of the all-time biggest coaching crimes of all time. I mean, to look up Stanley Roberts or to have an idea of how good Stanley Roberts was, and we all know Shaq. Shaq was not Shaq yet, but he was a young Shaq that, alongside of a Stanley Roberts would be unguardable. Should be. You know what I mean? Like,
especially in that era of basketball, that's exactly what you wanted.
Double one, you can, and Stanley Roberts had this. Stanley Roberts had this ability to play with like finesse at that size. I mean, he could like touch pass. Like I remember watching Stanley. Like you could throw it to him and he could kind of like pop the pass to the other block. Which as a big man. It's an incredible skill. I mean, to have that with that size and that ability. So I just wanted to talk about that, man. I wanted to bring that content to our listeners, because I understand that a lot of our listeners probably enjoy the same things that we do. I mean, a lot of you grew up around the same time, or a lot of you grew up around the same time that I did. And, Shaquille O'Neal for us he is that statue.
Yeah.
Superman.
He is that statue outside of the PMAC. I mean, he is an absolute legend to people like, me, who grew up idolizing him as a kid. And then to hear him at this point in his career talk about everything. They talk about everything. They talk about growing up in New Jersey, to moving to Germany, to coming back to Texas, to San Antonio to go to high school. They talk about his dad kicking his ass, about him showing up, coming inside after he got his ass kicked, and his dad making him go outside and saying, "You're way too big to be that soft. Don't come back in unless you got bloody knuckles. I don't want to see any more bloody lips." And just kind of forcing him, building this Shaq mentality. I mean, really what it is it tells you how he became Shaquille O'Neal. He tells you he tells you the story on why he dunks so ferociously. In the middle of a game, his dad walks out of the bleachers, snatches him up off the floor because he tried a finger roll on a putback, and back ironed it, and it came out. He grabs him off the floor when he's a junior in high school. I mean, Shaquille O'Neal is Shaquille O'Neal at this point. I mean, he's like growing in. Dick Vitale, people are talking about him. You know, I mean, people are saying this cat is incredible down in San Antonio. And he finger rolls one and back irons it out, and his sergeant dad grabs him by the back of the jersey, brings him outside, and slaps him across the face. Bust him across the face. You're too effing big to play that effing soft. Dunk the ball, boy. I mean, like, he was so pissed off at his dad. He was so mad at his dad for embarrassing him and slapping him and treating him like that. And he went back in there, and that's why he would bring his legs up when he dunked it. He'd try to rip the rim down. And
he did.
He tried to do that until the day he stopped dunking. You know, I mean, he said he would. I mean, they asked him about breaking NBA goals. And I mean, he was saying, I was pissed off at my dad. You know, I mean,
That's interesting.
It is an incredible insight to Shaquille O'Neal.
Are we calling Nathan?
Oh, we're not.
Oh, we're not. I thought we were talking about the Oscars this whole time.
We're not.
Y'all, I think somebody roofied my gimlet. Honestly, I mean, I am just like chill.
Don't you have a whole lot to do after this?
I have a whole lot to do after this. So
some Mother's Club stuff?
I got it. It's not the Mother's Club, but I do have to do a fundraiser at school, and then Sophie's birthday party is tonight. So
wow.
She ain't gonna make it to that. Sophie's got the run of the roost tonight.
Right. Mom,
spin the bottle.
Mom,
she's down.
Sworn she was here. Yeah, she's here. She's in the front.
Keys are right
Staring
here.
Out the window.
Keys are right here.
Right. Yeah. People's parents showing up tomorrow morning.
No kids at the house.
Katie's in the same thing she was wearing today.
Oh, God.
They all saw her.
Yeah.
Got nowhere to hide.
All right, round 2 tonight of the NFL draft. Terrace Marshall and Jabril Cox got to come off the board pretty early here. I cannot believe that Marshall's still out there.
Was there ever a point whenever the Saints were on the clock and Terrace Marshall was available where
Never.
Because they just don't?
They just don't do it.
I know. I let myself slide into that every time. Like, it would be nice here if we just added Terrace Marshall. And then, of course, we go defensive end from its fifth-year senior from some school I've never heard of and player I've never heard of. Yeah. But you always the Saints always have these opportunities to take LSU players. They don't do it. But Terrace Marshall would have been a nice addition to you're bringing in a new quarterback. You need another offensive weapon, I'd imagine. Who's our number 2? Marquez Callaway? Like, it would have been nice to slide Terrace Marshall and have Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara, but who am I?
Yeah, I mean, they go after Peyton Turner as the selection man.
What a name.
So we'll see. Jacksonville is on the clock. How about Jacksonville taking the Clemson Stars, former Louisiana star, and Travis Etienne out of West Louisiana, was out of Jennings before just an incredible career at Clemson. I mean, one of the all-time ACC backs coming out of Clemson, and now both those guys in Jacksonville with Urban Meyer as Trevor Lawrence was selected number 1 overall, and then Travis Etienne picked in the early 20s to Jacksonville.
Is there a better way to make like a splash if you're Urban Meyer than to get the fan base excited about going one quarterback and then coming right back into the first round and taking a running back? Like, you can't flash any more than that.
No, what about him working out Tebow?
What is this, dude? Wait, apparently they live right next to each other.
Well,
have you heard this? They're like 3 doors down from each other.
Jacksonville is his home. Is Tebow's home.
And Tebow's out there working out like shirtless, and he's like,
God.
"Morning,
that guy.
morning."
Oh, God,
unbelievable. Tebow can't let it go.
No, he can't.
What a goon.
It's the spotlight.
He loves it.
That just he
he
can't
does.
get over.
And you would think that, but the person that he is, he puts this facade up where he's like very Christian and humble, but it actually
no way,
a little ego to him.
No way.
Playing for the Mets.
Deep down, I mean, there are some people that worked with ESPN that I knew at the time that he was there doing the college football stuff, and they were like, "Bro, the demands of this guy. I mean, the
haircuts daily,
the diva attitude, the stuff you got to put up with, in just trying to appease Tim Tebow." I mean, the appearance fees that he thinks he's entitled to, and just showing up and thinks that people have to like pay him money. I mean, he is not worth just not worth the headache.
Price of admission.
I mean, it's not worth the headache.
Well, you know what it is? It's probably that's starting to weigh on him a little bit, where he's getting the same appearances, but he's not getting the asking price. And it seems like I got to get my name back in the news.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean,
I hated Tim Tebow. God.
Me too.
I still do.
Yeah, I guess you have to.
Hate is a strong word. I don't hate him.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
I mean,
Oh, God.
You know what we mean, though.
But I mean, like, it's.
No, well, look, okay, so he was what,
I tell you what
2007?
I did respect about Tebow, bro, was that, yes, absolutely. When he scored against that 2007 national championship team and he put the phone up to his ear, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen him do.
Yeah, he probably still thinks that himself.
What did he do when he put the phone up to his ear? Continue the story for those of us who don't know.
The week that LSU played Florida in 2007, which was a huge build-up, huge game.
1-2.
Yeah,
Was it 1-3 or 1-2?
was-
Regardless.
Top 5.
Yes.
And Tebow was the face of Florida, and Urban Meyer was the coach. That week, the LSU student section got his phone number.
No.
And they probably called him 25,000
I
times.
did
Yes.
not know that.
I mean, they probably
No
called
way.
him 30,000 times, and they left messages, and they FU'd him, and they did all this stuff. And it was by Friday, it was a storyline of the game.
It was on College Game Day.
It was like, College Game Day was talking about like how LSU is blowing up Tebow, and they got his phone number. Well, on like the opening drive of the game, and mind you, Tiger Stadium is
Full throat.
rocking. I mean, it is on springs. It's night game, Saturday night in Tiger Stadium.
Probably the best game I've ever been to.
Well, this is the season after that national championship,
This
right?
is the
National
national
This is
championship
that
year.
season.
And everybody
Okay.
knows that if we win this game, it's over.
Okay.
And this is the biggest game of that season.
Okay.
And if LSU loses, they're not playing for the Natty.
Yeah.
And if they win it, they're going to win the Natty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they get in that game, and the first drive of the game, I mean, Tiger Stadium is breathing down Tebow's neck. I mean, like on top of him. And he gets out of a blitz, like dodges a tackle, and then like cuts back and goes 30 yards for a touchdown into the student section, into the end zone where the student section is just,
Yeah.
and cups are raining down on him as he scores. And he looks at him and picks up the deal and like does like that to him. And like I'm telling the story, I got
Yes.
chills, bro.
Oh, wow.
I mean, but in the moment I was like, look at this mother bleeper. Oh, look at this mother bleeper. Like, I want to hate him.
Okay, so
I
you
want to
can't hate
hate
him
him,
for that. You
but I
can't
love
hate him
him.
for
That's a mic drop moment.
And bro, like everybody was busted. That was the night he cried. That was the night he cried leaving the stadium. Where he's got that.
Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah.
He's cried twice.
And everybody was. And
He's cried
everybody
more than
was.
twice.
Everybody was banging on him for crying, and I remember being like, "Bro,
He's a gamer.
I'm not saying a
Oh
thing about
my
him, dude."
God. That's pretty
because
cool, though.
It
I mean,
was.
that's pretty
He
cool.
played his ass off that
He
night.
did. He threw what they had a fumble and an interception. That's what turned the game.
Yeah.
But it's funny that we got.
But that interception was batted in.
I
the
know.
air.
Yeah, that's just pretty
Yeah.
lucky. Yeah, at midfield. And I know that we got.
And
a
they did announce USC.
That's yes.
USC Southern California was the #1 team in the country, or they were the #1 team in the country. We were number 2.
I think it was 2-3.
Yeah, it might have been 2-3. And they announced in the stadium, Dan Bournet announced during a timeout, USC has just been beaten in overtime by Stanford, 55-53. And the place went nuts. And again, 2 plays later, you can look it up. Tebow, touchdown pass. It's the whole place sits down.
Oh my
just
God.
takes the air out of the whole place. But I'm telling you,
That is
in
cool.
that timeout, like they started playing neck. Like they announced it. They started. That's back when you could play neck. I mean, the place
Dude,
was.
the sidelines didn't know what was going on. They heard the crowd go nuts, and then you could see the whispers on the sideline. They start throwing towels up. They're like,
I mean-
what the hell is going on here? And that place was as electric as it's ever been in that one moment. Then Tebow signs.
and then
as he
Tebow,
does.
2 plays later, sits him down. And I was like, this cat is for
Unfazed.
real, man. He is for real. I remember thinking,
It's a good story.
I am
Didn't know.
bought into Tebow mania that
You would
night.
have drafted
Even
him in
though-
the first round?
No.
Even Josh McDaniels?
No,
So you're
because that was
protecting him a
that was
little bit,
that was the best game. I mean,
It's
that
the best
was-
game I've ever been to.
That's the best game I've seen him play.
Oh, without a doubt.
But I mean, not that I was like some Tebow maniac and watching him play, but I mean,
In
Well,
that
I think
environment,
you were. Seems like
that
you were.
night he was, man. I mean, he was incredible. He was incredible in an atmosphere and an environment that wanted to chew him up and spit him out and had abused him all week from a mental standpoint. He came into that place and nearly beat him. Nearly. I mean, it came down to a jump ball at the end of the game.
we don't have Chad Jones back there.
I mean,
45-inch vert,
What a
just
game.
slapping that thing out there. No chance anybody's catching this. The best thing about the LSU fan base, and
What a
I'm-
game.
and
What
a game.
What a game.
I think that's what Verm said.
Yeah.
But the best thing about the LSU fan base is we got underneath Tim Tebow's skin, which is impossible to do, and we got under Trevor Lawrence's skin in the Natty.
Yeah.
He scores a touchdown and blows a kiss
That's right.
to the stadium. So it's just two people that you wouldn't expect to kind of show out a little bit. We got both of them and beat both of them.
That's right, man. That was a magical night in Tiger State. That was on my birthday night.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Cool.
So that's why I'll always remember.
2 tequila
it.
shots?
A couple of tequilas that night, buddy.
Any gimlets? Did
No
you get roofied?
gimlets. I might have gotten roofied that night at the varsity. But it was. You think Tiger Stadium can be like that anymore?
I would say the closest. Well, there's been moments that have been familiar to that because 2007 was a long time ago, and there's games that were similar. But I would say 2019 Florida was. I mean, we chomped them out the stadium, dude.
Yeah.
Like it was a very similar feel, but
That was a retro feel that night.
Yes, it was very much a throwback. Like this is a rivalry. We're both good. And it was that same atmosphere of if we win this game, we're going to the Natty.
Yeah.
Like you had that same environment, and you could feel like not tension, but almost excitement to get like let's get this thing going. Let's kick off. And LSU doesn't usually feel that way because sometimes we're a little scared.
Yeah.
Like well, I don't know if we belong here. But 2019 in that game, Florida didn't want it. They threw a punch, but we punched back every time, and they didn't want to be there at the end of it.
Yeah, that was a great game.
So much fun.
That was a great football game. I mean, even that night game that Leonard played in against Florida, where he punched that dude, or he punched him in the. I mean, that was a great environment, really. In Tiger
I think it might be
Stadium.
Florida.
Yeah, it's definitely Florida. I mean, there is definitely that rival to Florida, but I think Florida gives LSU fans and Tiger Stadium a great opportunity to be itself.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of an early season game. It's usually in early October. It's the weather feels great.
It's usually a night game.
A night game, and there's stuff on the line. I mean, there's not only the pride and the and the.
For as much as it's not an SEC West game, it has very SEC West like feels to it, where like this game matters a ton. Not only for like SEC play, but like this is a national.
And I know that there is a section of the fan base and even a section of the people that cover the program that would like to do away with the permanent opponent and being. I kind of like it, man.
Yeah.
I love that that's on the schedule every year. I love that both sides hate each other. I love that both sides kind of go back and forth at one another. And that it's a back and forth series. There's not. I mean, Alabama is not LSU's rival. LSU is not Alabama's rival because they beat the hell out of them. A rivalry is when you compete and you go back and forth and we win one, they win one, you win one, I win one. I mean, it's got that's the rivalry. That's what creates the rival. It's not a rivalry is not when one side gets their teeth kicked in for a decade
and you get one.
Yeah, and like you win 1 out of 11. I mean, that's not a rivalry. And then the one after you win, you lose in the worst fashion that you've ever been beat
in Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, I mean it's like that's not a rivalry. You know, I mean a rivalry is when you take a shitty team to Gainesville and when Florida has something to play for and you start a freshman quarterback and you beat them in the fog. That's a rivalry because now all off season they're pissed off and you ruin their dream. Kyle Pitts never played another down. You know what I mean? Or he played in the SEC championship, but after that, but I mean, you.
Took their season away from them. You spoiled homecoming.
Yeah, you screwed with them. You messed with your rival.
And that's what makes me terrified for this year because they very much have that same sentiment coming in because we are essentially Florida of last year where we have a lot on the table that, in my mind, I think we have a lot to prove in the sense of we can be a 10-win team, 10, 11-win team and looking at the possibility of playing in maybe a college football playoff, but certainly a Big Six. But Florida doesn't have that. They lost their quarterback. You know, they have pieces they're trying to put together. So they're very much trying to come into Tiger Stadium and spoil it.
Y'all are making me feel like a little bit of excitement for
I can't wait.
Football season.
Football season.
I really can't wait.
Did you hear what I just said though? Like, what's happening to me?
That's
Is
right,
it
it
the gimlet
happens.
talking? I mean,
no. It's your new job.
I mean, I guess so.
It's the drinking.
I'm like,
it's the drinking before
somehow.
8.
It's the Raising Cane's in the car.
Hey Lloyd, I'll say this, and we'll get out of here because I know Katie's got to go, and we got to get moving on this Friday. I'm going to say this about your concern about LSU football going into the season. I think LSU's going to be really good.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's
no, but I think they're loaded. I think that even like within their own walls,
they know
they
it.
kind of feel like.
Do you not feel that way?
You know
No, I do. I think that's what I said.
But I mean, there's a little bit of unprovenness to it. There's a little bit of you got to get out there and you got to prove it. But as far as like the personnel goes, the coaching staff, the people that they have around, it's all kind of coming together and trying to falling back in line. I mean, one thing that Will Wade told me about building a championship program, and this is always kind of hit me. He said, once you start going down the track, you got to stay full steam. And if you get sidetracked, or if the track runs out of space, or you run into a dead end, it's tough to get it back going again. It's tough to get the momentum moving in all one direction again. It seems like LSU has done nearly the impossible, where it looked like they were as good as dead within the sport. And I'm not even talking about what the off the field stuff. I'm talking about in the locker room and on the field. They look like a dead ship. And in just a snap, a good recruiting class, a couple of guys deciding coming back to school, some coaching changes, and a new outlook. And you talk to people around LSU football, or you talk to people around college football about LSU football that may have an understanding. We'll talk to Bruce Feldman and Andy Staples here soon. I was able to talk to those guys a couple of days ago, or within the last week and a half, and they were the ones that really kind of hammered it home that, hey, man, you better be telling your listener base that LSU's for real, because they've got depth on the defensive line. They've got playmakers on the outside. They've got a defensive backfield that can make plays. They've got some question marks on the offensive line that they got to answer. But they also, deep down, people are in love with their quarterback situation. I mean, people look at LSU's quarterback situation, and they know they got the guy in the room that, if healthy for the next couple of years, you got your trigger puller. I mean, you got your guy. And I'm not saying because we've been flying the flag, but people nationally are singing the same song that we're singing down here from 7 to 9 a.m. on Jordy Culotta show. Max Johnson. Seems like he's the name that everybody is talking to, and you talk to, my source tells me this. My source tells me that. My inside guy at LSU football saying this. My inside guy at LSU football saying this. My guy in the equipment room's telling me this. I got a girl in the nutrition center that's telling me that. And everybody has the same stories when they come back to the table, and it's all Max Johnson. Everybody's inside source comes back, and they all say they love Max. I'm just saying. It's going to be a good quarterback competition, and LSU's sitting in a really good spot at the quarterback's, position for the first time in a long time. But Max seems to be the guy, and the respect that the program has around the sport going into the season, I think some people are noticing and understand that LSU is 2020 was an outlier. That's not who they are. That's not the trajectory that they're cast upon right now. They are a championship level program, and they're back in the mindset of winning championships. Have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. LSU and the draft tonight should be popular. I think Jabril Cox comes off the board pretty quick, along with Terrace Marshall. I got to imagine that Terrace Marshall is the best player available at
Browns?
this point. I mean,
Browns?
maybe?
I mean,
Maybe?
not Browns. What am I talking about? Bengals?
No,
they just traded it.
No. Offensive line, bro. Protect the guy. For God's sakes. You got to be the best playmaker
Let's
in
get-
the sport.
Is there more red carpet for the rest of the draft, or is that it?
That was it. It's a one-night affair.
We don't get to see anymore.
That was it. Katie, good luck this morning at the parents' convention.
Call an Uber,
The
Jesus.
parents'
Yes.
convention.
Right. Do you need an Uber?
I'm fine.
You need us to drive you?
You want this Go Chevrolet truck that I just pulled up that you can be yours for the low price of whatever deal they're offering?
$15,000 off.
MSRP?
$15,000 off, especially if you're an outdoorsman. Jordy Culotta show on a Friday. Cocktails before 8 a.m. and good guest. Shout out to Mincy. Shout out to Playboy Marty. Shout out
birthday,
to
Playboy Marty.
yeah, absolutely. Happy birthday, Playboy Marty, and
Shout out to Annie.
Annie Milneck from
Annie.
Redstick Spice Company. She crushed it, bro.
Unbelievable.
She did.
Couple of hot pockets and a couple of cocktails. $15,000 off at Go Chevrolet right there. Go ask for
Look
Nick
at that
Richard.
thing.
Look
Look
at
at
that
them
thing, man.
rims.
GEAUX Chevrolet.com. Have a good weekend.
Take my next fishing truck.